Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. I am delighted to say that the most wonderful time of the year has been announced, Eternal Weekend. We have dates for Asia, Europe, and America. The US one is back in my home city of Pittsburgh, so I will definitely be there, sleeping in my own bed, feeling good about the whole situation. I hope to see you there. And part of what that means is we got to get some vintage on the channel. There's a legacy event and a vintage event. Got to show some love. And Patreon subscriber Guy has submitted a whole run of vintage decks. We're going to get at least one a week for the next 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks. We're going to get quite a few vintage archetypes on the channel. Thank you, Guy. I love playing vintage. I love having a reason to do it, and I love having an invested audience who want to see it. Here we are. I'm starting today with Doomsday, which is not a deck I'm an expert with in any format, though I have played it quite a bit. This is the deck that Guy is most likely to look into, so I want to make sure that he is getting his money's worth on this run that we're doing. A big draw to Doomsday, in addition to just being a busted powerful combo deck, is you need slightly fewer pieces of power to play it, which, I mean, in for a dime, in for a dollar, right? There's a Black Lotus, a Mox Jet, Mox Sapphire, Ancestral Recall, and Time Walk. You don't need the off-color Moxin. You don't need a Time Twister. You don't need a library. There's no Bazaar. There's no workshops. It really pains me to say this out loud, but this is kind of one of the cheaper powered decks you can play. It's also really good. Of course, the namesake card Doomsday, if you've played Legacy at all since the printing of Thassa's Oracle, you've seen this around. Black, 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 search your library and graveyard for 5 cards, exile the rest, put the chosen cards on top of your library in any order, you lose half your life rounded up. Boom, one big spell says, I'm going to cheat, I'm going to stack my deck, and I bet that I'm going to win with those cards, because after that, the rest of my deck's gone, and it is in fact Doomsday for one of us. The trick becomes resolving Thassa's Oracle after you've exiled most of your deck with Doomsday. And if you've seen any of my legacy content or anyone's legacy content around this deck, you know how easy it is to do that in Legacy. And this very stupid thing happens in Vintage where instead of having to manipulate a pile with Brainstorm where we draw 2, put 2 back, make sure the card we keep can get through all the rest of the cards, we just get Ancestral Recall. Straight up put the 3 in your hand. Don't have to think about how we're navigating a Brainstorm pile. Instead of Lion's Eye Diamond doing stack tricks to figure out how we're going to get 3 mana somehow and exposing ourselves to interaction because we have to discard hand to do it, we just get Black Lotus, just 3 mana, which happens to be the perfect amount to cast Thassa's Oracle and back it up with Flusterstorm. Very, very easy Doomsday pile. Ancestral Recall, you draw Black Lotus, Thassa's Oracle, Flusterstorm, boom, protected Oracle win, and you don't even have to work that hard. It is much easier to get through a Doomsday pile in this format than it is in Legacy. There's also Gush. Just draw 2 cards for free. If you haven't made a land drop yet, this actually nets mana when you play it. Really easy way to start a Doomsday pile. You have 4 Force of Will, 2 Days, another Days in the sideboard, 4 Flusterstorm in the main. Insanely disruptive, really good at just shoving Doomsday through anything. Also, Flusterstorm is just really good in Vintage in general against cards like Tinker and Paradoxical Outcome and Demonic Tutor, just all the busted spells that Vintage has. Flusterstorm is one of the best weapons against it, and Doomsday gets to leverage it on offense and defense. Plus, we get a little taste of competitive EDH in here, because Demonic Consultation, a card that's banned in Legacy, you can play one of those in Vintage. It is restricted, but we can get it. Thassa's Oracle, trigger on the stack. Demonic Consultation, name a card that's not in your deck, exile your whole deck. That's a backdoor. You don't even need to cast Doomsday to win. Necropotence cost black, 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 which is the same cost as Doomsday, so our deck's already built to shove this mana cost early and often. Necro, get one of the most busted draw engines in Magic's history. Just very sick deck here. A lot of control elements, can go very fast, can beat a lot of hate. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I might misstep to one of my Doomsday piles at some point during this, but like I said, it's pretty hard to mess this up unless there's some 8 card that I run into or something that wasn't on my radar, but the piles themselves, very easy when you get access to Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus. Okay, let's do this thing. This is Vintage Doomsday, the first of the Vintage series to prepare for Eternal Weekend 2023. Let's do it. I'm on the draw for round 1. I have Preordain plus Time Walk with Force Backup to kick it off. And this sees a bunch of cards. There's a bunch of resources. I'm going to rock with it. Uh-oh, Chancellor of the Annex revealed. If I die on turn 0. Alright, looks like some initiative is what's happening. I cannot force anything that happens here. My Moxen can bust. Well, JK. Alright. That was a really messed up start from them. Okay. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna bust out of this. I can cast a Mox, which gets countered and breaks the Chancellor bubble. Woof. Old play draw magic here. Okay, welcome to Vintage. Which of these Moxen do I think is more important in my game? I have Dark Ritual now, so I need 1 black source. If I let the Jet get countered, and then they Wasteland, I'm just not even playing the game. But Sapphire can preordain and find more action. I think I'm going to offer up the Jet on the altar of being countered by Chancellor of the Annex. Can't even play the other Mox because of Thalia. Maybe there's an argument I'm supposed to force the Thalia, break the Chancellor bubble on that, and then get all my mana down, and just live a life without Force of Will in hand. Kind of regretting my decision here. Alright, they're paying 1 for a Chrome Mox. This is almost certainly going to pitch this Chancellor. That's basically all it's for. Oh, come on. Oh, Archon. That's still bad, but at least it was an initiative creature. Still like to draw a land. Even if it comes into play tapped for 2 turns. Alright, that's free money. Let's get it. Alright, that's expensive money. Flusterstorm. I can force now, pitching Flusterstorm. I don't have to lose a Gush to do that. Life total's becoming a concern. Doomsday takes half your life when you cast it. There's a lot of spot removal in the sideboard, and this is what it's for. Alright, come on. Basic land. Doomsday. I can cast this card. I go to 6. Is it possible? Oh, no, I can't, because I have to double spell, and it costs 4. JK, can't do anything. Normally, I like Ancestral Recall. I'm sending it to the bottom. There's a land. It can be untapped next turn. That's a basic. Still don't know what my plan is here. In the main deck, I have a whole lot of nothing. I actually do not have a removal spell in the main. Cavern of Souls. It's their land. On Angel. That's terrifying. What angels are in this deck? Just Chancellor. Phyrexian Angel. Okay, I can Time Walk, see another draw, then probably concede. Gush is bad because of Thalia. Everything's bad because of Archon. My life is pain. Alright. I'm just gonna math real quick. So obviously, like, I'm dead. Archon's in play. If this was just Thalia, I'm gonna try to learn something here. If I Dark Ritual, I end up with 3. The Doomsday costs my extra 1, then I can't Gush. I would Doomsday down to 3 life. Thalia hits me to 1. And then I would have to get through the pile, Gush. It might be there. I don't know. Well, obviously it's not right now, but time to board in a bunch of spot removal. Yeah, one of the things about creature decks in Vintage is that Vintage decks aren't really built most of the time to deal with creatures. It's not like Legacy decks where Swords of Plowshares, Lightning Bolt are just in every deck. It is, in fact, quite weird to have to play against creatures, which is why Initiative is one of the top decks. All of these Flusterstorms are coming out. I think that's an easy one. Mental Misstep coming out. They might have like Soul Ring in their deck. I don't expect a lot of 1s. And Gitaxian Probe can probably come out. I don't care what's in their hand necessarily. They're mono white. I'm just going to try to dumpster or keep the board clear. I like my forces. I don't like Force Negation really. I don't think I want more days. Steel Sabotage can counter or bounce something like Chalice or Trinisphere. I'm looking on Goldfish right now, just at top White Initiative decks, which is the top deck in Vintage, by the way. I said one of the top. It is currently, according to Goldfish, the #1 deck in the metagame. They have Trinisphere, and looks like they can board in Null Rod if they think that's important. I'm not going to go Steel Sabotage. I'm just going to cut the stuff I don't care about. They don't seem to play Mindbreak Trap, or at least not in the list I was looking at. Quickly. All right, here we go. Bunch of removal in, extra land to hit your land drop under Thalia. It's also an unwastable land. Right, what do we got here? Bunch of blanks. Got a mulligan this one. I'm not going to trust a 7-card hand. The Street Wraith could just, like, not hit a land, then we lose. Send it. Okay. This has interaction, and I have Force of Will style interaction, and I have Snuff Out style interaction, and there's a Doomsday here. I am going to keep this hand. I think I shipped the Wraith. If I keep the Wraith, I would just cycle it and hope that there's another card to replace it so I could just get rid of it and keep a good card in the first place. Makes sense to me. They mull to 6 and they have a Chancellor again. Chancellor's a lot worse on the draw than it is on the play. Now I can Force of Will, pay the Chancellor bubble, and just be out from under it. If they play something like Archon of Emir, I can snuff it. Still can't hit a Thalia, but I can force it. There goes that. Strip Mine, tilt. Okay. I'm forcing this. I'm just deciding, because it would cost me 1 to cast it, and then the Chancellor would... So it actually costs 2 for my free spell right now. I can force it, pop the Chancellor bubble, and then move forward with life. I'm just deciding if I'd rather cast Sleight of Hand or Brainstorm afterwards, and I think it's actually Sleight of Hand because I want Doomsday and I want Snuff Out. And they've Strip Mine anyway, no point in fetching a basic. Underground Sea, get in there. Forest pitching B-Storm, pay the 1. Alright, deck, let's keep the mana flowing. Black Lotus off the top. Oh, okay. I do like Dark Ritual. I would have to make a pile that doesn't care if it gets Strip Mined. Do I trust my ability to do that? If I make a pile that's like fetch land, Underground Sea, that lets me snuff out a Hate Bear. Problem is, if I cast a Sleight of Hand, I might not get another turn. Vintage Doomsday experts probably know exactly what to do here, but I'm not one of those. The Lotus is dope, but it doesn't turn on the Snuff Out. If I put a fetch land, Underground Sea in the pile, that will scramble the other 3 cards of the pile. There are 15 lands in my deck. I've already used 2 of them, so there's 13 lands. Looking at 2 cards, not even necessarily likely to see another land. Alright, I'm going to cast Doomsday, and we can figure out the pile from there. Let's go. Alrighty. I'm going to need at least 1 Underground Sea in there. I like an Ancestral Recall. I like a Black Lotus. We need at least 1 Thassa's Oracle. And do I put a backup land in there? I can't get Force of Will on top of the pile to protect my next turn. Like if I had Street Wraith in hand. Welcome back to that mulligan. That Street Wraith that I put to the bottom would be perfect here, and this Sleight of Hand is going to end the game without being cast. Second Underground Sea. If Ancestral Recall isn't in the top 2 cards of the pile, then I just can't even cast it. Let's look at this pile for a second. I haven't hit OK yet. So this pile would be C with Ancestral above it. This would let me land drop, Snuff Out, Ancestral, win. Okay, I'm going to try this. It might not even work, but this is the plan. I'm going to put the backup C at the bottom of the pile. Oh shit, I just unclicked rather than committed to it. Okay, done. C on the bottom, Oracle above it, then Lotus, Ancestral, Underground Sea, and pass the turn. Hope this works. If they just Strip Mine me, I win. If they play an initiative creature, I win. They would have to strip mine me and add a hate piece like another Thalia. And even then, they would have to Archon. Okay, sick. I could just snuff this in the end step, and then we win on my turn. All right, cool, cool, cool. End step. Snuff you out. Go to my turn. Land, sleight of hand for Ancestral. Ancestral, myself, 0 cards in my deck. Black Lotus, Thassa's Oracle, please don't mind break trap me. Bang. Okay, cool. We did it. I think I miscounted my pile, and no, I was I think in my head I got to draw both Underground Sea and Ancestral Recall in the same turn, which is only true if they don't strip mine me. The pile still works how I described. I don't know if I got twisted up in my head or if I did it right or what, but it worked. Count it, scoreboard. Which is all that matters, I guess. Okay. Does anything change about this sideboard plan? If I were to reach for Force and Negation, I would be committed to like forcing Chrome Mox, because everything I care about is a creature. I don't think that's where I am. I don't think I like Daze here either. At least not the extra one. The 2 that are already in are fine. Okay, let's do it. Tough matchup to be on the draw for. Okay. We have free removal. We have the Doomsday. We've got a tutor. Got some fast mana. I keep these. Opponent went to 6 and does not have Chancellor of the Annex for the first time in history. Chrome Mox. Wasteland. Thalia, who I can kill. But not... Okay, so I can kill Thalia, then play Mox Sapphire, and play Preordain, which insulates the Wasteland a little bit. There's no basic swamp in the deck. There's one island, and then the other I sideboard in, so can't fetch a basic and kill Thalia here. If that's the case, I think I just want to fetch another Underground Sea, because if they follow up with Archon of Emeria, I don't want to have to fetch my way into my next dual land. Underground Sea, snuff out, cost me 1. Mox Sapphire, Preordain. Mox Jet, hello. Alright, bottom the land, top the jet. Now I can also Vamp Tutor. Alright, send it. Vintage rules. Now I'm not even sure if it's right to Wasteland me. Oh, I got 2 of them, so maybe. White Plume Adventure. Okay, I don't care about that. They have 1 card left in their hand. They're about to tutor a basic. So if I just put Ancestral... If I vamp for Ancestral, I win. Right? Yeah, okay. I don't know what their last card would have to be for that not to be the case. Right, vamp tutor for Ancestral. I have black, 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 then I Ancestral, and then I win. Okay. That's on top. Underground Sea, Doomsday. Then I put Thassa's Oracle, Black Lotus. Do I care about Gush or Force of Will? Do I want to make room for those sort of things? Basically free money at this point. Like, I have the thing in hand that already wins the game. Now I have to figure out what else I'm going to do. I guess Daze wouldn't hurt anyone. And I can put 2 Street Wraiths in there and just make sure the pile's empty at the end. Alright, so looking at this pile, I cast Ancestral, pick up Wraith, Wraith, Lotus, and then Wraith into Daze, Wraith into Oracle. Yeah, that works. Doomsday pile resolved, Ancestral myself, Black Lotus, Wraith up to Oracle, and I'm just going to cast it, and then I can either get my deck empty or cast Daze with the other Wraith if it matters. Which it doesn't seem like it does. Cool. Alright, that game 3 was a nice, squeaky clean little dumpstering of what they were doing. We saw what it looks like when we lose, we saw what it looks like when it's close, and we saw what it looks like when you just run away with it. The perfect spread of matchups. Good start to the league. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2, and I have a turn 1 Necro, and I'm in. This is some vintage Magic. Okay, Dark Ritual. Necropotence. Even if they force here, I have lands and stuff. Alright, well, looks like I'm just paying a bunch of life and gassing up my hand. I think probably 10. I don't actually have good Necro heuristics for this deck. But I want to leave enough life that I can still Doomsday. So 10 cards. I think 10 cards in a vintage deck can figure out what they need to do. Alright. Go to my end step. 10 cards enter my hand. Then I have to go to discard. And we'll see what's left. All these cards get exiled. That Treasure Cruise is not actually helpful. Did I find a Force of Will? No, I did find a Daze, though. Okay, so I have Oracle Consult with Daze backup available. I would like to make sure, as much as I can, that I get another turn. Utaxian Probe is helpful. Preordain, you're out of here. Flusterstorm, does this matter? There's 14 cards in my hand, I gotta discard 7. I've discarded 1, 2, 3, 4. Bummer. This is a double Oracle situation. If I get Thoughtseized and lose my Oracle, that's not a deal for me. I don't have room for Flusterstorm, I don't think. And what's left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's either Gitaxian Probe or the second Oracle. And I can misstep a Thoughtseize. So maybe I'm not worried about that. Okay. I'll keep the Probe. And always yield to exile triggers, get them out. See you later. Okay, opponent. What are you up to? Maybe with Consult in my hand already, I'm just supposed to like be 17 or something, or 16, and try to find a Force of Will to protect all this. Underground Sea, go. Alright. We're playing the same format here, right? I'm just talking shit. This is fun. Okay. Polluted Delta is my land. Mox Sapphire is my additional mana source. Gitaxian Probe, how'd we do? Do I win? Your 7 cards are Demonic Consultation, Dig Through Time, Demonic Tutor, Portent, Flusterstorm. Okay, so we don't win, because they can fluster the Consult. I do need to find another land before I can go off here. Maybe I'm not supposed to fetch there, but I did. I think I just A5 here, go to 2. It is the Doomsday Mirror. I need to find another mana source. 2, 3, 4, and 5 means I can still force. And I can force or fetch. If I stop now, I can force and fetch. Alright, I'm gonna go to 2 here. Leave fetch lands available. Yeah, that Flusterstorm in their hand is a beating. End step, load them up. I'd love to just see basic island in this pile. That'd be sick. Demonic Tutor, Force of Will, Doomsday, Preordain. Preordain, uh-oh. Demonic Tutor can get Black Lotus, and then we're cooking. Alright, clean up. Discard 3 of these. It's going to be Doomsday for sure. And probably the 2 Preordains. Yeah, I was actually weirdly close to winning through the Flusterstorm, because I could Daze 1 copy, and... Oh, interesting. What do they got here? Ancestral? I'm going to let this resolve. Maybe I shouldn't. That's 1 card I don't have to discard. I don't know. They got Force of Will. That makes some sense. Oh no. All of these cards were just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These ones are gone. Magic Online just puts them all in the same spot. Okay. End step. I'm going to discard Doomsday and the 2 Preordains. Alright, we're operating on tight margins here. Almost out of gas. But if they use their interaction on Demonic Tutor, that's interaction they don't have for the combo that I am holding. Right, they have an Underground Sea in their hand. I clicked on the wrong thing here. Please, like, do anything right now. Portent targeting yourself. Okay. Just spending 1 mana here turns Daze back on. If they fluster my DT, I can fluster their fluster, and then I Daze their force, and then I Oracle off of... Alright, wait. Is there enough? No, I need blue, blue, black. So that's not quite enough. We're getting there. I don't know. Probably should have mental misstep to something this turn, because I don't have 2 life to pay for it anymore. Yeah, this misstep should have been used by now. I blew it. Demonic Tutor on the stack. I imagine they're going to fight over this. Here's your Fluster Storm. That's gone. I'm going to Fluster your Storm. Pretty sure I resolved this correctly. At least I hope I did. Flustering a Fluster Storm on Magic Online. One of the hardest skills of any vintage player. Okay, Demonic Tutor back on the stack. I actually do win if they force this, because I Daze the Force, then I get the land drop. That gives me the mana I need. Force pitching Dig, and then Daze the Force. Alright, cool. The Daze is actually mana positive here. Daze is card advantage. You heard it here first. And now we can Oracle Consult with Force backup at 1 life. Beautiful thing. Blue, blue, blue. Tosses Oracle. Then in response to the trigger, Demonic Consultation, to pick a funny thing to name, unless they concede first. Aw, bummer. Yeah, if you're playing Doomsday, make sure to have a stable of funny words you can name with Demonic Consultation. You Are Already Dead's a popular one, Abandon Hope. I like Blood for the Blood God, personally. That one gets it going for me. Okay, we're in a combo mirror. I don't know if I want to go so deep as Mindbreak Trap, but probably do. Just anything that interacts, especially on the draw. What is less good, less important? I def want Duress 100%, Force of Negation 100%, and then the rest of these cards, in my assessment here, which, you know, amateur assessment, I think Dispute is the second best one, and then Daze and Mindbreak Trap probably comparable in tier 3. Getting rid of Straight Wraiths makes your piles a little slower, but in the 4 Flusterstorm, Duress, 4 Force of Will combo matchup, maybe going slow is okay, especially on the draw. Yeah, maybe I don't want a 3rd Daze on the draw. Daze is better on the play. I'll follow that old heuristic. Alright, I mean, there's a lot of Force of Wills. I can Mystical for Ancestral and try to load this up. Force of Will, not quite gas in the tank necessarily against the 4 Flusterstorm deck. Opposition Agent has also been seen in vintage decks that play Dark Ritual, usually for against Doomsday, not necessarily in Doomsday, but they could have it. I'm going to keep this hand for science. I don't think it's that bad. And it's very good at not dying. Okay, Black Lotus. Preordain. I'm going to pick my spots very carefully on these Force of Wills. The old, do you force a turn 1 Black Lotus question that's always existed. Tough one. They bottom that Preordain. Thassa's Oracle. Holy cannolis. Alright, well, they're going to try to consult me here. Or they're just going to look at 2 cards, and that's the best they could do with their mana. Wow, they didn't have the consult. Alright, yeah, that was just 1/3 creature. Interesting. Oh, cool. Duress gives me a lot of movement here. I can sort of clear the runway for this Mystical Tutor, which is my entire plan. Darkrit, Fluster, Dig, Force. Taking the Fluster all day. They can't cast it right now, but that's the thing that messes up my line. Alright, land, sure. They're still pretty far away. Every card in their hand costs double blue. Every card I might care about anyway. Sleight of Hand. Ooh. Don't think I Sleight of Hand. That's so boring. I have Mystical Tutor for Ancestral lined up here with protection. So if I find my own Doomsday and the ability to cast it, things get really exciting. Okay, if I Mystical on their turn and then Ancestral on their turn, this Force of Negation in their hand's a brick. I'm going to Mystical now. I know it resolves. Grab Ancestral. Brainstorm. I'm not really interested in this. That changes everything I know about everything. Though my hand is still 3 Force of Wills. I'm going to let them Brainstorm. This might be a mistake, but I think it's okay. My shields are up. I'm planning for a long game anyway. If I was going to win next turn, for sure, I would fight over this and just know what their hand is. But as it stands, I think I have more interaction than they have cards. And that's a world I'm comfortable living in. Thassa's Oracle collecting its pound of flesh. Love to see it. Okay. Real talk. Ancestral now, because now they can hardcast Force of Negation on their turn. I am going to Ancestral now. There's probably going to be a fight over it. Please don't have found Flusterstorm. That just happened. Dope. Okay. And Preordain sees more cards than Sleight of Hand, so I'm going that way. Preordain, found Dark Ritual, just looking for Doomsday now to win this game. Do I want another land? Do I want Mindbreak Trap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will have to go to discard regardless here. The fetch land plus discard gets me very close to dig through time. Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Mindbreak Trap is a blue card I can pitch. If I discard Dark Ritual to hand size and I have black, black, black available, I think I'm actually just going to top this. And in the discard phase, get rid of Dark Ritual. I have black, black, black. My hand is as many counterspells as they have cards in their hand. It's not a place I'm sad about being. I will force a dig through time if they play it. Probably pitching this Oracle. You play 2 for a reason, and it's the worst spell in my hand. With 5 cards in their graveyard, they'd have to tap all their mana to dig here. Alright, cool. Just sending it. I like that. I'm going to fetch before I Slight. That way the card I send to the bottom doesn't end up back on the top. Sleight of Hand. Flusterstorm, I like that card. Give it to me. Now if they go for an end step dig, I can just fluster it. And I'll dig in their end step if they don't. Ponder, that's not my fight. We might be in a game of chicken here with whoever digs first loses it, because whoever digs in response to the enemy dig is more likely to have an answer to the dig. Ooh, Tundra. Someone's an Esper deck. I am not that. So what should I assume here? Teferi Time Raveler seems likely. And I changed my mind. I'm not going to shove dig into their face-up counterspell. Though, if I do it now and they tap out and then I force back, so I could just have Fluster up next turn. All right, I'm going to my turn. Black Lotus, you don't say. All right. That's perfect. Gives me massive mana advantage, and I don't have to go to discard. I think that draw just busted open anything that resembles a stalemate here. Now I could walk them into a position where they get blown straight to heck, where, like, if they dig through time and then I dig in response, then they force my dig, I can fluster both their spells. I do love the Dimir control mode of Doomsday that exists. Thassa's Oracle getting in, and I have 7 cards in my graveyard, which is enough to dig away everything and still leave Ancestral in the graveyard for Doomsday piles. The perfect number. I really want them to just do, like, anything, even, like, Preordain, put it on the stack. Let me hit 2 things with Flusterstorm here, and we'll be in a good spot. The end step, dig through time. I'm going to make my move. They can't force and dig here. Even if they Dark Ritual, that doesn't add more blue to the pool, and they need quad blue. Force of Negation hardcast is the play. Flusterstorm is my response. They could have their own Fluster by now. They've seen a lot of cards since the last time I saw their hand. Dark Ritual, fascinating. This turns on Mindbreak Trap with whatever their follow-up is. Or no, this pays for the Fluster. Duh. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I am going to force, and I think I pitch another Force, actually. Hold on to this Oracle in case I get a clean line to Consult here. Force, pitching, Force. If they interact again, Mindbreak Trap is on. Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Those are good cards. I don't really need Dark Ritual. I can't move my pile forward, unfortunately. We're so close to game over here. I'm for sure taking a Doomsday, and I guess I take a Flusterstorm to go with it. I got nothing but mana here. Alright, cool. We've got a long-term plan. If I draw any card that draws a card, we win on the spot. Mental Misstep does not draw a card. Okay. I'm gonna black Doomsday here. They're down to 3 cards in hand. I got miles and miles of protection. Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus from the graveyard go back into the Doomsday pile. Backup Thassa's Oracle. Ancestral goes on top. I draw 3. Let's grab another Flusterstorm here. And I did board out my Street Wraith, foolishly. I just put Time Walk in the pile. What does this look like if this is my pile? Ancestral on top draws Fluster, Oracle, Lotus. Or no, Oracle goes on the bottom because I'm already holding one. Ancestral draws Lotus, Time Walk, Fluster. And then I can present one Oracle with a bunch of protection, and if that doesn't work, I can Time Walk into the other one. Okay. I'm happy with this. Oracle to the bottom. Time Walk, Fluster, Lotus, Ancestral. Okay. I wish I could draw a card, but I can't. Pass the turn. I have to watch out for them Ancestraling me, but I do have Mental Misstep for that. I know they have Dig Through Time. Cycling Street Wraith, okay. That's not actually good, just probably necessary. Land. They're pretty resilient to Flusterstorm with all this mana. There's a lot of stuff they could play that they could just easily pay for Fluster with if they were so inclined. Woof, a Treasure Cruise. That one, I'm going to Force of Will this, actually. Force pitching Thassa's Oracle. I put the other Oracle in the pile. We're okay here. If they try to dig on top of the cruise, I can Fluster all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not even a thing. Can't dig on top of this cruise. If they play out the last 2 cards in their hand, Mindbreak Trap is on. Oracle attacks me to 4. I could still misstep to 2 and be fine here. Glad I didn't have a Street Wraith to put in the foot pile. That actually would have messed me up. Do not currently have a plan for Dress Down, if that's a card they have. I had to use my Force there. So if I Ancestral into Time Walk and get to keep my Lotus, I can play Oracle with an empty library and Mindbreak Trap hardcast on something like Dress Down. With Cruise in the graveyard, they can tap all their stuff for Dig. And I would Fluster that if that was going to happen. They're just passing the turn after a long tank. Okay. Ancestral, myself. Let's do this thing. Any Dig Through Time gets flustered easily. I don't think I actually want to Fluster the Dig, though. Even if they find Force Blue card, I have that beat with the Fluster. But what card could they have in their hand? They have 1 card in their hand right now. Yeah, I don't care. I am gonna Fluster this. Yeah. This just shuts it all down. Then I can Time Walk with the Lotus, and I have enough lands to Oracle the turn after. 1 card left. Black Lotus. Cast Time Walk. All of it with Fluster backup. Then we stroll into our bonus turn. Squeaky clean. Very nice. That was a really good game. It's turn 8. We went a long time in that Doomsday mirror. The blue-black versus Esper control mirror, kind of. And then as soon as someone gets a critical mass, you just punch through. That was really good. On to the next one.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factors YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the play in round number 3. I have Island Ponder, which is much less likely in this format. Mystical Tutor can get Consult if I come up with another blue mana somewhere. I'm in for this. I can also always just Mystical for Ancestral. Pretty reasonable thing to do. Played an entire round last match based on that. I think I am going to fire off this Ponder. Just not knowing what I'm up against, like Ponder might cost 3 next turn, who even knows? Alright, cool. Rewarded with basically everything I could ever want here. Now I get Sapphire, which I can present a Consult win next turn. Mystical Tutor for Consult, draw it, blue Oracle, black Consult with Mental Misstep backup. I now also drew the action, or the additional mana source to Mystical for Ancestral and play it, rather than just look for it. That was a good Ponder. I like playing with Moxen quite a bit. It's another Doomsday Mirror. Well, I'm going to fluster this. I win a Flusterstorm fight here. Because if they fluster back, I can pay for one of theirs, and they can't pay for one of mine. Yeah, get out of here. That was cool. Ponder. Do I misstep this? I think I'd rather save misstep to fight over my Ancestral against their misstep. Or us being Dazed deck sucks. Pretty stoked about this. Oh no, I'm tapped now, so I can't go for the Consult line right now. They shuffled their Ponder. Okay. I am going to Mystical for Ancestral here. Pretty hard to argue with that one. Okay, now they would have to force to win this fight. And, I mean, they might have force because they tried to shove that turn 1 Doomsday. Yeah, they do. Okay, force pitching Preordain. Okay. Now we're both kind of farting around. I have 3 mana to their 1. They have 3 cards in hand to my 2. I can misstep a Dark Ritual very quickly. And if I draw a Consult, I can try to win. Playing lands out. They're fetching in their upkeep. Or you're just refiring 3 mana Doomsday. Second round. Bomber. Alright. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It would be a great time to draw the Consult. I think Demonic Tutor would be good enough too. Oh, Street Wraith with weird art. Ew. Why does it look like that? Utaxian probing me. This could slow down their pile. I don't know. They can probe me. They could see the misstep. And they can't Ancestral from here anyway. Gush. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a really good Gush pile. And now I'm dead to Lotus. Yeah, I should have misstepped the probe. I blew it. Yeah, you know that it's going to work. Okay. They did better than me at putting Doomsday on the stack. Okay, another Doomsday Mirror. I'm on the play this time. I'm going to have Daze, Mystical Dispute, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap, all these things I liked. I cut the Wraiths last time. I think I want to leave 1 in because it does do stuff in piles or get piles jump started in a way that I like. Yeah, this is actually really tough. Yeah, maybe I'm just way overvaluing Daze, and if we exchange resources early, Daze gets worse as we hit our land drops and move forward. All right, I think I'm off Mindbreak Trap too. Duress, Mystical Dispute, Force of Negation. Get rid of 3 of my Wraiths, and I'm gonna call that a plan. Sees a lot of cards and has interaction. I'm gonna keep. Definitely studying my opponent's play here to help with my own. The whole Wraith probe, find Gush, unlock Lotus. Cool stuff. I like to think I would have figured that out. Don't know if that's true. Okay, I'm going to fetch for Underground Sea before I start casting Preordains. Because Preordain, if you bottom a card, means you don't want it. And shuffling the cards you don't want back into your deck makes your deck worse. When the whole point of Preordain is making your draws better. Dark Ritual, Thassa's Oracle. I don't think I want either of these. Bottom, Sleight of Hand. The card is worse than Preordain. I'm going to cast Preordain. Treasure Cruise, Mystical Dispute. Treasure Cruise, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the graveyard. I think I'm going to just hold on to both of these and set up a long game. Daxian Probe. Okay, you see what I'm up to. You don't see the Treasure Cruise. Brainstorm. This is a vintage player we're playing against. Firing off this Brainstorm right now. See if we can convert it from a 0 mana situation into a win without a shuffle guaranteed. Legacy players wouldn't do this. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is a totally different evaluation of this card than you get from playing Legacy. Or at least this is a combo player. If not a vintage player, certainly a combo player. But obviously they're playing combo and vintage right now, so they're both. But I'm just commenting on how aggressive this no mana Brainstorm situation is. It's possible they already have Black Lotus Doomsday in hand and they want this Brainstorm to find a Force or Daze. That could be what they're doing here. Or they might just need to resolve this, or their hand is bad and they solve my Mystical Dispute. Black Lotus confirmed. Alright, still going to try to counter the thing that comes out of it rather than it. Oh, what's happening? They made blue instead of black. Alright, we're time walking. We're ancestraling. Oh, I'll pick my fight somewhere, I guess. Forced me back. Okay, pitching misstep. Alright, they're going to get a second turn with 4 fresh ones, including the 2 cards they put back from Brainstorm. So 5 cards in hand. Am I dead? Fetch land. Dark Ritual. It doesn't look good for me, team. Doomsday. Yeah, if they just had all this with Force backup, you know, what am I going to do? And all they have to do is do something with this 1 blue mana to get their pile moving, and then they win. Yep, Street Wraith, good enough. And then they Ancestral, and I'm out of juice here. Okay, I believe they're not going to punt it from here. GG's. Yeah, we just got absolutely out Doomsdayed in a Doomsday mirror on that one. Maybe the hand I kept was too Legacy. Maybe they just had a turn 2 or turn 1 win. Yeah, they time walked on turn 1, right? What happened this game? Yeah, they time walked on turn 1. It's technically turn 2, but yeah, I just got turn 1 through a Force of Will. So I'm not going to feel too bad about that. That comes with the territory of registering it for a vintage event. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy to create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the draw for round 4. My opponent is still deciding on their mulligan. We might see a Serum Vision or a Chancellor of the Annex, or I guess that would happen after mulligans, a Serum Vision or something to give information. Looks like they just kept a normal 7, and I'm going to do the same. I have turn 1 Doomsday here. Let's rock it. Or turn 2 Doomsday plus win with Brainstorm. A Flooded Strand, okay. Could still be another Doomsday mirror, but I hope it's not. Okay, I got some options here. I can just cast Preordain and try to go off with more protection next turn. I could fire Doomsday straight into all this open mana. I'm kind of into Preordain. Maybe I'm playing like a Legacy control player rather than a vintage combo player, but I like this. I like stability. I like winning when I think it's go time. Okay, they're fetching in response for a Tundra. What are we going to do? Ancestral over the top? Alright, just a little Spell Pierce. Glad I didn't go for Doomsday. Well, I guess I could misstep this. I am going to let this be countered. I still have Brainstorm. I have my next land drop. If this is a Xerox deck, they're going to have their own Ancestrals. They're going to have other cantrips. Cycling Lorien revealed. That's fine. Some Esper stuff going on over there. Okay, now I can win immediately with Brainstorm if this Dark Ritual, or if this Doomsday resolves, and we've already fought off 1 counterspell. Doomsday. Force of Negation. Okay. I suppose I Brainstorm in response, see if I can spin up an answer to this. It's not an answer, but it's another shot next turn. I'll take that. Put back Thassa's Oracle and the Doomsday itself. I can just draw that if I need it, and then this is handled. Okay. That was a 2 for 2. Just keep softening them up. They pitched a Force of Will to do that. Ox Emerald. 3 cards left. Don't Lavinia me. Jeez, okay, that's annoying. That bricks my gush. I can't actually remove this in the main deck. Alright, I'm gonna have to make a pile that ignores Lavinia. Okay, so Shock in, Watery Grave, cast Doomsday. Can't misstep anymore. Don't think I care about Time Walking. Alright, just firing this one in. I would have one with Gush here if they didn't have Lavinia, but they do, so I gotta figure out something else. Black Lotus also doesn't work with Lavinia around. Ancestral still plays. Flusterstorm still plays. Suppose I just want a mana source. Just grab an Underground Sea and 2 Oracles. Let's look at this one. So I Ancestral myself, drawing Oracle Sea Fluster, and then I can Oracle with Fluster back up. And if that all fails somehow, I just have another Oracle. Okay. Works for me. Oracle, Oracle, Sea, Fluster, Ancestral. Alright, send it. And I even have Wraith that can get my last card out of my deck if they have just Swords to Plowshares or some mess like that. I couldn't put Force in the pile instead of Flusterstorm, even though I would rather, because they have Lavinia. Black Lotus, uh-oh. How big and stupid of a thing did they have? Tilt. Whatever they have, it's the best card in their deck. They play a Dress Down, I don't think I can beat that. Or I would have to Time Walk and fire the second Oracle. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. Hope they're not a Brain Freeze deck, because Storm is lethal. If this is somehow like Esper, Tinker, Brain Freeze, something or other. Okay, I can Ancestral myself. If I have to Wraith to hit Flusterstorm, that's bad. If they got Hull Breacher here, I'm in a ton of trouble. World of hurt. Maybe I start with Wraith, see if they want to attack it, then I can Ancestral over the top of it. Alright, I'm going to cycle Wraith. Hull Breach me. Coward. Alright. Ancestral targeting. No, I think I want to Time Walk here. Then I can't Ancestral anymore. Oh no. Oh yeah, there's a land in the pile. Okay. Ancestral, target myself. If they Ancestral me in response or afterwards, I can Fluster it. Okay, I can't play around Dress Down anymore because I cycled Wraith trying to play around the Hull Breacher that they don't have. Ancestral target me. Alright, I have this beat. Fluster this is better than Misstep this. They can't pay for it. Okay. Did we do it? You have 1 card left in your hand. Come on, don't also have Dress Down. Free Fluster over the top of my Fluster. And I cannot Mental Misstep. Okay, so they just had a Flusterstorm in hand, then DT'd for a second. Or no, they had Fluster or Ancestral and DT'd for the other. Okay. Dead to my own thing here. Mostly dead to Lavinia, but also they figured out a sweet line. Yeah, Lavinia would have the Misstep just clears the Ancestral. Lavinia bought them a full extra turn because I couldn't Gush, and now I can't Misstep. And I couldn't get Lotus in here to fire 2 Oracles. Turns out that card's pretty good. I'm just going to see if they lined up their Flusterstorms correctly. I'm just going to let the stack resolve and then win or lose. Okay, looks like I'm dead. Got me good. Snuff Out does not line up well against Lavinia. Cut Down does. Mystical Dispute I like. Daze I'm shoving on the play here. I like that. I might be undervaluing Street Wraith, but that just seems like such a cuttable card. Every time you need to cut something, just, yeah, I'm in. Preordain, a Sleight of Hand, a Dark Ritual. Probably not a Dark Ritual because I'm trying to go fast. Sleight of Hand doesn't draw cards, so that's the appeal of that. I don't know if I need to be that clever in this matchup. They could conceivably have Hull Breachers. Cut Down does kill Hull Breacher. I'm just going to play the better cards and hope they don't have Hull Breacher. This Orcish Bowmaster could be in this deck too. That seems kind of mid in the power level of Vintage. I don't know. Maybe it's great. I haven't actually played Vintage since Lord of the Rings came out. Okay. I'm keeping this. If this Ponder comes up with a Doomsday, we have a protected turn 1 Doomsday. And if it doesn't, we're working towards Treasure Cruise. Okay, Ponder, bring me home. Cut down Force of Will. This is not exciting. Like, cut down is pretty sweet. Force can pitch this Oracle and I wouldn't really miss it. Okay, I will keep this. It's not the high velocity excitement I was looking for, and I'm going to run Lotus out because we've seen Lavinia. If I end up getting my Lotus Prismatic Ending, it's unfortunate, but we can play through it. Mox Rubes. Mox Pearl. Land. Alright, that's a lot of mana. I'm going to play Flooded Strand and pass. This could be an opposition agent. I'm going to fetch in their upkeep if they don't do anything. Because I do want to fetch. Alright, cool. Didn't get oppoed, didn't have to daze it. I could also cut it down. Had a lot of interaction for an opposition agent, actually. Alright, Moment of Truth. I need some action here, some cantrips to keep it going. Just a Doomsday to put on the stack, which is no longer as reliable as it was. Oh, okay. I can't just fire a win in here with Force backup. Yeah, alright. I'm convinced. Thassa's Oracle on the stack. Mana Consultation. Flusterstorm's tough here. I'm gonna force pitching Daze. Daze is not gonna help me in this war. And if I need a second round here, Cruise is how I'm gonna get it. Fluster, sure. They're down to 1 card. Okay, obviously cannot pay for this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 short, bummer. Time Walk Dispute. I don't really want either of these. In Time Walk gets me the extra card guarantee. Yeah, I guess I'll take Time Walk. Not a great use of that card. Just gonna count one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm 1 short. Okay. Kind of hope they just shove Lavinia here. I cut it down, and then we're both playing from Hellbent. Time Walk gets me into Treasure Cruise. Attack with the Oracle. Begin the beats. I kind of hope they do block this with a Hull Breacher, because that gets Hull Breacher out of the way of my... Okay, yeah, sick. Cool. Oracle does not matter in play. And now they're Hellbent, and I know my stuff's going to work. It's actually better in my graveyard, because I can throw it back into Doomsday piles. Alright, sure. Don't think I block that. I think I leave it in play forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I? I have to answer Oppo eventually, so I'll just do it now. And then that gives me a card I care less about to exile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually have to leave Lotus in here. 6, 7. There's the other Oracle. And opponent's Hellbent. Let's see where the game goes from here. Got a turn pass. They could hardcast Force. They could just have nothing. That's a Doomsday. Alright, I'm going to play like they have nothing and just shove here. Gotta believe. They drew a second Oppo. Heckin' whatever. Black Lotus in the stack. The Oracle's already in my hand, so I just get kind of a free stack here. Ancestral. Do I just want 3 Forces? Do I even need the Black Lotus if I'm doing that? I won't need 3 Forces. They'll have 1 card in their, or 2 cards in their hand. Ancestral Lotus, Force, Gitaxian Probe. Draw for turn, 4 cards left. Ancestral, 1 card left. Probe gets down to 0. Okay. I think this is a pile that makes sense. Force, Lotus, Ancestral, Probe. I'll put Probe on top. Start there. Okay, go. Don't kill me. Cool. Alright, they just don't have anything. Okay, on the draw. 3 days, I like less. Is there anything I would like in? Snuff Out doesn't hit opposition agent. Good duress to clear the way. I already have in every answered opposition agent. I mean, Daze could be a pretty good answered opposition agent. That is an expensive spell. I think Duress makes sense. They do have hate bears and stuff, but more looks at their hand is better for me. If Snuff Out actually killed the creature I was worried about, I'd bring that in, but it doesn't. It does not hit opposition agent ever, and it rarely matters against Lavinia. This hand rips. I'm keeping it. I would like to draw a blue card, but I'm in. Buddha Delta, Black Lotus, good start. Narset Barter Avails, yikes. And me without a force. Or me without a blue card. I do have a force, hilariously. Alright, I mean, I can just shove a slow pile here. Narset doesn't stop me from resolving Doomsday. Flusterstorm does. Wow, this is a powerful hand. Oh, are we getting Oppoed too? You're not done? Okay. Alright, blue card off the top. Black Lotus. I can Doomsday twice. Does that do anything? Does that matter? Alright, Mox Jet. Land. Black Lotus. I can kill opposition agent. Can I pay for Fluster? I can, right? 3, 4. No, I'll be one short. Or no, 3. I can exactly pay for Flusterstorm. Alright. Oh, I don't need to Dark Ritual if I just use the Lotus. That's even better. Okay, yeah. Black, 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 Doomsday. If they just shove Oppo, I can kill it. If they Fluster, I can Dark Ritual, then pay. Yes. 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 Yes, okay. Doomsday is in. I can't draw extra cards here. The Sleight of Hand. Did I board that out? You heckin' donkey. Yeah, I forgot about Narset. There's the Sleight of Hand in the sideboard. Would be great here. Time Walk definitely part of the pile. I want 2 Oracles. We're gonna have to take it slow here. A land. And probably Flusterstorm. Demonic Tutor could skip one as well. I can draw on my opponent's turn. So I have 1 Street Wraith still in the deck. What happens if this is the pile? Force doesn't really have a blue card. I definitely need the land, because I need that to cast Las's Oracle. Yeah, I think Street Wraithing on their turn to buy an extra moment. And then, yeah, I'm just going to have to not rely on Force of Will here, I guess. I don't like it, but they have Narset. That card's annoying, and I sideboarded foolishly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Time Walk moves me 1 forward. I have the cut down for a creature if they play a Hate Bear. I can also Doomsday again, reset the stack. If they mess me up too hard, I can just... No, I have 6 or 7 cards here I can make a second Doomsday pile out of. Narset activation. Don't show me a dress down. Nox Sapphire. I don't care about that much. In the scheme of all cards Narset could have found there, that one is among the most generous to me. Time Walk is what we're here for. Get through this pile. And then I put the Underground Sea under this. Okay. Pass the turn. Gifts Ungiven. Ew. In Vintage, this is a 4-mana spell. But it's going to be good. Is there going to be some, like, Savine's Reclamation for various Hate Bears BS going on here? My Kingdom for a blue card. Maybe I'm supposed to sit on that Time Walk as my blue card for Force, and then I can walk if it seems right, or just hold up Force forever. Ancestral Fluster, Force, Yogwill. Alright, so they're trying to kill me. And frankly, I think that's mean. If I give you Force and Fluster, that's actually fine. So I choose 2 cards to go to the graveyard, right? Put the chosen cards into the graveyard. Alright, so I want Ancestral and Yogwill into the graveyard. They have Force and Fluster in hand. That's tough, but I made a double Oracle pile. Versus Saga, okay. They can hardcast a Force. I'm drawing Street Wraith here. Kind of regret this being part of my plan. Like, I don't even actually want to cycle it now, because I'm going to need to Oracle Fire. Yeah, I should have kept Time Walk in my hand, I think. Because if I cycle Wraith now, my deck will be empty, and I lose to this Force. And now they can Force plus. Oh, please do something with your mana here. Ugh. Leaving up Force and Fluster right now. Not quite dead to the constructs, but it's very close. Duress should have been in my pile, I think. Yeah, I could have made this pile better. Thassa's Oracle. They can make a 4/4 and then 5/5 and tutor something. That land drop sucks so bad. Force pitching Force. Wow, holding on to Fluster. Them tapping out of the Force might be what I need here. I don't know, we'll see. Urza Saga gets to make a big O. Fluster is their only card in hand. They get their tutor. If they have Sensei's top, they get some looks. I don't know. I can't cut this down, it's too big. Yeah, I really wish the Street Wraith was Duress in my pile here. Or just some blue card. That would be good too. Manifold Key. Oh no. No, you didn't. You did not. Stop it. Okay, they didn't play Time Vault, but they are doing something that needed double black. They drew Bolus's Citadel? Calm the heck on! Alright, I mean, they didn't spew out their deck. That might just mean they have a Force on top, but no amount of Flusterstorms beats my line here. Okay, moment of truth. Here we are. Everything. Bang. Thassa's Oracle. Is there a Force on top of your deck? Oh my god. Oh my god. Didn't dress me down? Whoa! Wow. Turn 1 Narset Apart reveals Flusterstorm, Force of Will, Gifts Ungiven for a handful of junk, Bolus to Citadel. None of it good enough. My pile could have been better. Yeah, this Street Wraith was just a mistake. Like, there was no point, even if everything did go to plan, where getting a card deeper mattered. It just took off the second Oracle as a line. This should have been either Duress or some blue card to go with Force, but we did it. Oh, on to the last round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round. I have Misstep, I have Dark Ritual Doomsday. I'm going to keep. Let's see what's going on here. This is certainly some action. I'd feel better with a Force or a Daze, but you get what you get. Mox Jet, okay. I'm ready to misstep a Dark Ritual. Mana Vault? Nah. I'm zapping that. I don't care where this is going. That's a great hit for that. Mox Opal, okay. Oh, wow. We just bricked them completely. Alright. Thassa's Oracle in hand. I'm gonna just Dark Ritual Doomsday here. Put them to the test. Alright, that resolved. And with the Wraith in my hand, I could Black Lotus, that's 4 cards in my deck. Ponder, that's 3. Wraith, Oracle from hand. And I could do this. Okay, I can win right now. Okay. Black Lotus, required. Ponder's already in my hand. Just get all the other Wraiths, I guess. Wraith, Force of Will. I guess Daze is better than Force, huh? I could also just get the other Oracle, but I won't have mana to cast it by the time we get to it. Okay, what happens if I take this? I cycle into Black Lotus. Black Lotus casts Ponder, which finds Wraith. And then I have Wraith Daze in my hand. My life total is about to go to... Oh, I'm about to go to 8, right? Oh, I can't do 4 Wraiths. Yeah, you lose half your life rounded up. Bummer. 1 life away from that line working. Because I misstepped. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay. Lotus Daze, Wraith. Is there a free way? No, there's like Gitaxian Probe. Oh, Probe's probably better than Wraith in the pile anyway, so I can see what I'm up against and I can make an informed decision. Gitaxian Probe. Replace one of the Wraiths with that. That's easy. Do I just put in Underground Sea at the bottom in case I have to pump the brakes? How does this work? I cycle into Lotus. Lotus, cast Ponder. Then I probe my opponent. Find Wraith. Wraith into Daze. And then I can refire next turn if this doesn't work. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Okay, I hope I counted correctly. Sea on the bottom. Daze. Wraith. Probe. Lotus. Cycle for Lotus. Here's this. Okay, they believe me. Cool. That was a turn 1 win. Mental misstep, cutting their mana out from under him. Getting that mana vault was actually good for 4 mana because it turned off the Opal as well. They might have had Flusterstorm in their hand, but not today, homie. Opal is interesting. Opal doesn't go in just like random decks. Mana Vault also is like shops and PO decks, like big mana decks. There's obviously it's a powerful spell, but I suspect a combo deck here. The Force Steel Sabotages are pretty interesting because they will find targets, but the targets aren't like Trinisphere and Chalice of the Void and Lodestone Golem. They're going to be like Mana Vault. I'm on the draw. Okay, I think I want these 3. Dispute, Duress, Mindbreak. And Daze actually seems pretty bad on the draw against a deck that's playing so many fast mana sources that they're into the Opal territory. And I'll go down to 3 Wraiths as well. Almost made use of a 4 Wraith pile, but didn't have enough life. We were so close. The Wraiths are in the deck in many ways. Like, obviously they jumpstart you. They can, like, if you tap out for Doomsday, you can Wraith into Gush and then win. But they also, you can play around Mindbreak Trap. Like, Doomsday, Wraith, Oracle is only 2 spells. Force Negation probably should be into. All right, Wraith, sorry. You're out. Okay, here we go. Interactive spells in against what I suspect is a artifact combo deck. I'm gonna mulligan this no mana source hand. Come on now. Mulligan again. This is a protected Dark Ritual Doomsday. I'll keep. Bottom, Preordain, or definitely Oracle. And I guess having Force Preordain is the same as having Force Blue card, except the upside's higher if I just need to cast Preordain for reasons. Okay, this is a mess. Seagate Reborn. Yeah, this might be Belcher. Or like some kind of Oops All Spells thing. It's heavily dedicated combo decks here. Balustrade Spy. Oops All Spells confirmed. Are we dead? You have 1 card left. Is it Pact of Negation? Oh, is it the second Spy? Wow. Okay, so they can win next turn. That was a really cool hand. Yeah, I am gonna lose on turn 2. Yeah, I can't beat this. I will. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. Jet, C. I'm not going to show them my sideboard plan by casting Doomsday. I'm going to make them mill their deck, and I would like to see what they're working with. Awkwardly, my Ancestral Recall would kill them right now if they go for this win right now. Which they're going to do. Like, you're not just going to pivot onto 2-3 beatdown. I just want to see their deck and their sideboard plan. Okay, so we've got Chancellors of the Tangle. Hermit Druid is in here. That's cool. Spies, Informers. What's their interaction? Chancellor of the Annex as a 4/of. Checking for Pact of Negations. I don't see Force of Will. I don't see Pact of Negation. Oh, there's a Force of Will. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. People roast me all the time for that. I'm like, oh, I don't see Force of Will, and there's 4 of them. Yeah. I see it. I see it. I hope you've already left some angry comments. Thassa's Oracle is in the graveyard. Dread Return is in the graveyard. They didn't draw the Dread Return or the Oracle, which is what I needed here. Okay, GG. Okay, Force of Will is their interaction. So this is pod racing. Okay, Daze would have actually been the difference. Or no, I didn't have an island in play, but they do operate on thin margins. Cut Down would have won that game, but I'm not going to board it in. It's very rare that that's going to be true. Mindbreak Trap, Stonebanger. Glad that's there. Ataxian Probe. Does that matter? The rest is really good. I'm kind of loath to cut Wraiths because that's how I can really turn one that supercharges the piles. Ooze and Dig seem like pipe dreams in a matchup this fast. They are blue cards for Force, which is important, but I don't think I need both of them. I might still cut the other one. I'm just doing an assessment here. I do like Probe on the play. I get to know what their stress points are in their mana chain. Necro's good. I just like pay 12, make sure I have interaction, make sure they can't win. I don't have Graveyard Hate in this deck. We just bet that we're faster than them, I guess, is the plan. Okay, Sleight of Hand, the worst cantrip in the deck. Though Sleight is probably still better than Dig, because this matchup is not likely to get grindy. Okay. I'll do it like this, +2 dazes. Force, daze, action, keep. I think I'm going to just fire off Street Wraith here and see if I find a blue card. I would like to cast Preordain, but I don't want to give up on Force or cycling 2 Wraiths. Okay, cool. Now I can Preordain and not feel bad about it. Fetch first before I Preordain, make sure the cards I draw are good. Love to find Duress here, that would be sick. Oh, Vamp Tutor. I like that one too. Okay, so if I Vamp for Dark Ritual, I can Doomsday and Preordain. Preordain doesn't do it because I don't have 2 lands to gush with. Vamp Tutor seems really good though. Could also just Vamp for Ancestral if I'd rather rebuild. And I'm gonna bottom top grab this Vamp. Okay. Send it. Okay, they kept 7. I have 1.5 layers of protection. Daze could find a stress point, or maybe it doesn't do anything. Mox Sapphire, got it. Mox Opal. Chrome Mox. Haven't found a spot to Daze yet. That's 4 mana. Please cast the 4-drop. Oh no. Well, I mean, Daze still denies them here. Okay, Force Pitch Preordain. And if they force back, Daze will give me a turn to operate. I do have the Force. Okay, can I win? Oh, I Vamp for Ancestral, and then I win? Okay, Float Black, and Daze your Force. Okay, they gotta pay the 1 here. Then they get Undercity Informer. Then I Vamp Tutor. I grab Ancestral. Then if they try to combo, I kill them. They kind of have to go on to 2-3 beatdown here. And if they do that, I can eventually just Ancestral myself, use my life total as a resource. Yep, 2-3 beatdown it is. They know what's going on. I would love to find a Dark Ritual. Okay, they are Undercity Informing themselves. There's got to be a Memories Journey or something in here. Is there? Force, Informer, Writ, ET, Tinker, Ancestral. Don't see it. Okay, if there's a win here, I missed it. Ancestral U. Cool, that just worked. Nice. All right, sweet. A 4-1 with Vintage Doomsday. Beating a bunch of decks and losing only to the Doomsday Mirror. We also beat a Doomsday Mirror. This feels like a vintage deck through and through. This excellent leverage of fast mana and free interaction. You can turn 1, folks. You can also play the control deck. Much like Legacy, actually, this seems like it mostly comes down to, do you know how to stack piles or not to solve for different situations? Because the combo itself is ruthless. I don't think anyone actually stopped me from comboing. The only matchup we lost was an opponent who comboed faster than us. But all 5 rounds were blue decks, and nobody could actually stop me from executing Doomsday. It was just, could you win first or not? The game we lost against Oops All Spells, they just won first. They didn't stop me from doing anything. This is a powerful place to be. I have not decided what I'm doing for Eternal Weekend yet. I have to play this whole vintage series sponsored by Gee before I make any decisions. I'm going to see what feels good in my hands. But I mean, a turn 1 combo deck that plays for Force of Will is right up my wheelhouse. So it will just be a matter of if I feel confident making Doomsday piles, or if I feel confident that this is better than some Tinker Underworld Breach strategy, which is what I'm normally into. So this felt good, though, on basically ice cold, haven't played this deck in a year or more, and 4-1 the league, only losing to a mirror that out-vintaged us. So a great result, I dare say. Gee, thank you for firing this in. I'm looking forward to the rest of the vintage leagues I'm playing for you as well. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Get to an Eternal Weekend if you can. They're great. And I will see you next time.